Hey guys, and welcome to Let's Play City Skylines. This is a game that came out today, and I've been waiting for the release of this game for a very long time, and I'm so happy to have it right now. So I'm going to do a small introduction of about 40 seconds explaining what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do that and why, because this game, if you don't know it, it's made by Paradox, and it's kind of like Simcity, except it's a lot better, and it's pretty much the Simcity we've always wanted to have, but never had. Now, my Let's Play is going to be a bit different from many of the other ones out there, because I'm going to do a similar thing to what I'm doing to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Hell. It's actually it's the exact same thing. I'm going to record for about 2 hours each time and turn it into a time-lapse and then do the commentary over that, because this is going to be much more about actually seeing the city progress and making cool cities and stuff like that than about the actual gameplay and actually getting to know what I'm thinking about while I'm doing the cities. And yeah, that's basically what I'm going for. So nice cities rather than nice gameplay, I suppose that's a good way to put it. Now, as you might see here, I'm already getting started. So the thing that I had in mind was you need a good kind of road layout. That's the basic, well, thing of a city. If you don't have a great road layout, I suppose it's really hard to actually turn it into a great city. Now, the thing is, there are many ways to deal with this, but I decided to just go for a kind of suburb, but also kind of Dutch thingy, because I don't know why people do that over here, but for some reason all the roads over here are all twisted and crooked, so I decided to do that, because it just seemed natural to me, and yeah. One thing I probably should say though is that I'm totally crazy about trees. At this point I was just like, okay, we're gonna build many houses, loads of things, we're gonna get to that certain population number so we can build trees, and then we're going to make an amazing city. So this is really just the beginning, and as you can see, the main idea that I had in mind over here was I'm going to have that main kind of avenue running through the town, and then I'm going to have the very small roads over there which go in all their crooked ways and are actually not all that efficient, but surprisingly none of them are actually stuck right now, or there's no traffic jams or anything like that. I mean, it's still a small town, but you know, I was somewhat surprised by that. And yeah, I'm just going to put all the commercial stuff around the big roads and all the houses along the small curvy roads. And I don't know if that's an entirely realistic thing for everyone, but that's just the kind of thing that I had in mind. And I might always change this later on when the land value gets higher, or I get higher buildings and office buildings, but this is for now the kind of suburban city that I want to create at the moment. And of course I'm going to build loads of parks and stuff with that as well. And as you can see, it's growing pretty quickly, or at least it seems to be growing pretty quickly. This is about the work of 10 minutes that we're in right now, and especially because you have so much money to start off with, it's really fast. And that's something that I really noticed about this game, is the fact that it's incredibly easy, really. Because I spent the last couple of days just looking at videos, studying everything about this game, which did two things. I mean, for one, it taught me many things about the game, but many of those things were already pretty similar to me, because it's so similar to SimCity that you probably, if you have a lot of SimCity experience, you're gonna get this game right away. And I can tell from experience that that's definitely going to happen. But that's not the only thing, because looking at all those videos just made me want to play this game so much more. But yeah, what I've really noticed about this game is that it's so easy, but then again, it's fun, and it's really hard, because normally you'd have to find the balance between an easy game and a hard game, and actually giving the player a challenge in order for it to be fun. But I found out that, at least for me, it was so much fun in this game to actually get the city to thrive, even if it was very easy, and even if the game was taking me through all these baby steps. It was just so great to see the city grow, like it is right now, as you can see. And at this point, I got the trees, so as you might be able to see, I kind of got a green thumb over there and decided to place trees everywhere. I was kind of sad to see that you can't place trees next to industrial zones, otherwise they're going to be dead and stuff like that. And the ground is still purple on the industrial zones. I've heard that they might change that in the future at some point into a more greyish kind of texture, but at the moment it's purple, which is kind of weird. But other than that, you know, it's really cool, and the graphics are really amazing in this game too. And at this point I was like, okay, we need to cross the bridge, because I was pretty much out of room over there. On one side I had, of course, the town, and on the other side I had the industrial zone, which was polluted as hell, which was not really the greatest thing. So I decided to go over to the other edge of the river and see what I could do over there. It's almost turning into like a suburb of a suburb kind of thing. And you can see me placing all the water pipes over there. And that's also one thing, like, I keep noticing all of these things that you have in SimCity 2, except they have been improved in this game. And it's just minor things in the game that I really like about things. And, wow, that was very vague. It's just these minor points that I like about games. For example, if you place the water pipes, you can see which area they're going to affect. If you place roads, you can see which area you can zone, and how many roads you're going to have to place to get a certain area of zoned land. And that's very awesome, very handy, but it also looks very good. So I'm really happy about that. And as you can see, the graphics are, of course, amazing. Very colorful, in a sense. And I've never been a fan of cartoony graphics, but this just seems to work somehow. And this is also something that I'm really happy about, the way the buses work over here. Because I never imagined it. I was never really a kind of bus freak in my entire life, but when I got to that option, I was like, oh, it is actually lots of fun to place all of these bus routes and, you know, see where you can take your people and what's the best way to get them to their work in the industrial zone over there. I don't know if this is actually really a great kind of way to do all that, but I suppose that I can take my experience from SimCity that if you don't have buses and trains leading to your industrial zones, you're going to have terrible traffic jams. So I definitely wanted to avoid that in this case, and I'm pretty sure that with stuff like that, this game pretty much functions in the same way that SimCity does. And at this point, I think everybody died because, yeah, I think that was it, because I didn't have the cemetery yet, and like all of my old people were dying, and I didn't have anywhere to bury them. So there were dead people everywhere, and that's when the city kind of got bad at some point. But that's also something that you often have in SimCity. There are just these moments when you just forget about one thing. It's either water or electricity or garbage, and your entire city just turns into a mess for a couple of seconds, and then the game notifies you, and you're like, oh, wait, I need to do something, and then it's all okay again. And I got the windmills, which is really cool. Like, I really love that. If you're a kind of green person, you can do whatever you want without hurting the environment too much. Of course, there's the industrial zones, which are kind of terrible in that sense, but it's the most efficient way, funnily enough, in this game to get energy is with windmills, which are more efficient than coal power plants. Depends on which place you place them though, because certain places are windier than others, and that actually affects the amount of power that a windmill generates, which is just one of those other neat little details that I love about this game so far. And then there's the music though. Seriously, that music is amazing. And yeah, at this point I was trying to make the industrial zone bigger because there was so much demand for industry, and at some point I made it bigger, and then suddenly the demand just dropped and all of the industry got abandoned. Yeah, stuff like that happens sometimes. I'm not really sure how that happened, but so far I haven't really had too many problems with zoning or anything like that, so definitely not too hard or complicated in that sense. And I still had that power line running through my city, even though it was extremely unnecessary, because there were already buildings everywhere and stuff like that. And really glad that you don't have to actually lay all the underground electricity cables yourself. And at this point I was like, okay, I'm pretty glad about the way that I've made the city, but I definitely want to make districts. And this is the kind of thing that you have in Roller Coaster Tycoon when naming your attractions or naming your Pokemon in well, Pokemon of course. But for me, that's just one of the fun games, one of the fun things in games when you can name things. I don't know, it's just great. So I decided to create some districts and give them terrible names. I named them after real life cities, so it's not really anything very unique or original in that sense. Not very creative, but you know, it's handy having those districts, and you can actually see loads of information. You can see the general kind of jobs that people are doing, the education that they get, and it's really awesome to see not just information on your city, but actually being able to divide the information and see what the statistics for certain places within your city. And the options in this game so far seem endless, and that is really awesome. Not to mention the fact that it's going to have mod support, and I'm pretty sure there are already many mods out there for if you really want to mod this game. I mean, there are plenty of people who are into that. So yeah, this was it for the first episode of City Skylines. It went really fast, and I must say, I am incredibly impressed so far. It's definitely an amazing game. It's definitely everything I've ever wanted in SimCity but never had, and I'm already having more fun than I've ever had in any SimCity game, to be honest. It's really great. It's easy, but it's still a lot of fun. There is loads of things to explore in the game, and there are so many things that SimCity just did wrong, or you wished it had, that I just find in this game. And I must give my compliments on the music as well, because I think that music is one of the most important factors actually in a game, perhaps even more important than graphics sometimes, because if you really want to delve into the experience of a certain game, the music is so important in actually getting you there, and this music is so inspiring, but it's epic at the same time. And I am not too sure about this, but I think I've noticed that when certain buildings level up and stuff like that, you actually get different music tracks. So when you're just starting out, you get this slow, easy music, and when you're building stuff and your city is growing and it's getting big and epic, you also get this big and epic music. So that's really awesome. And overall, I am so happy about this game. There are not enough minutes to actually say what I like about this game, so I suppose I'll have to do that later on in the series. But I'm glad that I bought it. I think you should definitely buy it if you're into city building and don't have it yet. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.